I miss old panorama apps. Who doesn't love seeing a friend who walked into a group photo too late get smeared, or a cat that walked across the frame gain an extra pair of legs or two? When I got my first smartphone, these kinds of delightful accidents happened all the time. But since then, computer vision research has been going at a breakneck pace, and unfortunately, I think we lost track of what made panoramas good. I can now take out my phone and capture a panorama that looks pretty much exactly like I see with my eyes. But that's the problem. That's why I have eyes. Who needs this? Panoramas have lost sight of what makes them unique. It's not their ability to capture reality, it's their ability to produce images that viewers have never seen before and that inspire a sense of biblical awe. When photography got good, painting remembered that it could do something else better, and it got weird. At this point, we're ready for the next phase of panorama evolution, where it too can get weird. So that's why I've created Pandemonium, a panorama app that produces weird shit all the time. So why did old panorama apps look like that anyway? Well, they're using a technique called slit scanning, where every column of pixels has an offset in time. And when you do that, it means things that move end up kind of smeared. Part of the problem is that it's just a little bit hard to control. Because the timing is fixed, you have to really know what you're working with in order to create what you want to achieve. Just moving around usually looks good and makes something weird, but we can do a little bit better. If we're going to try to recreate the artifacts from old panorama apps, we have to know what exactly it is that we want. So here's what I'm going to call the 3 types of jank in old panoramas. The first one is duplication, and that's where something appears multiple times because it managed to go behind the camera or something and reappear and get scanned twice. Second is what I'm going to call bend, and that's where something is moving as it gets scanned, so it used to be rigid, but now it ends up looking kind of curved. And then finally we have smear, and that's where something gets so stretched out and distorted that it's almost completely unrecognizable, and that's where you get the best stuff. So let's see how these look in Pandemonium. Here I am actually in it right now, and so far it looks like a normal webcam. Except what I can do is I can move over to one side and then place a stamp of myself, and now I've got 2 of me, and there we have duplication jank already. But that's not where it stops. Let me just slide up this distortion, and now you can see an easy way to add bend jank to my images. That's the second type of jank. And finally, I'll tone this down a little bit and increase the smear slider. So as I get closer to my other copy, I'll start to bend into myself, and you can see all my colors dissolve, and I can keep cranking it up, and I can create this horrible nightmare creature, and I can keep adding more versions of myself. I can keep adding more. I never need to stop. I can just keep going. Isn't this what you wanted? Didn't you miss this? So how are we able to produce such beautiful images? Well, the first step is to separate the foreground from the background from the incoming camera feed, and that's done with the media pipe selfie segmentation model. Once a camera layer is segmented, we can apply a sinusoidal distortion. When we're combining 2 or more of these foreground layers, we use something called the smooth union operator, which previous scholars have referred to as the bean operator. This lets us figure out the outline of the combined shape, but we still have to smoothly blend and smear the colors within it. To do that, for every pixel on each layer, we figure out where the closest pixel is to it on the other layer. We then smear the pixels in that direction based on the inverse magnitude of the distance to that edge. This means that the regions over a maximum radius away from the edge appear completely undistorted, but things within the seam do appear distorted. That also means that if I completely overlap with another layer, the middle still looks approximately undistorted, and the sides look quite distorted. We evaluate our method by putting it in the hands of users at large to see what they make with it. A common theme is the self-portrait. Without being limited to a single entity, now you have options like layering or creating a weird Cerberus hybrid creature. This can also be used to create a sense of progression or something like anamorphs. We knew that group photos would be ripe with opportunities since group panoramas and old panorama apps are where all the jank happens. It's just really hard to keep people still for a full pan. But now, the options are really unlimited. We can create all kinds of different nightmare fuel. Visuals you've never seen before. Visuals you never wanted to see, but now you have, and you want to see more. What better way to show your friendship than by putting yourself within the face of your friend? Taking it back to pets, of course we can duplicate parts of your pets. You can even morph yourself with your pet. Throughout all these examples, we're seeing images that we have never seen before. We're living in an AI-generated reality where everything we see is a sloppy average of everything we've seen before. So when something new happens, that's interesting. When you've never seen an image before, that hooks you. We think users are going to be creating new LinkedIn pictures with Pandemonium. To quote Timothy Chalamet in A Complete Unknown, if anyone's going to hold your attention on a stage, you have to be kind of a freak. With Pandemonium, you can be kind of a freak. Thank you for your time.